Okay, today we're going to be talking about wrapping your meat for the freezer. At our house, we're doing homestead meat. We do not do pretty, cute wrapping paper. We do every which way but loose. That's the most important thing to talk about, okay? If you expect it to survive in your freezer, it needs to be as tight as you can get it, however you can get it that way. There's three main ways that we use for wrapping our meat. Number one is just good old freezer paper, which we do double layer. Number two is just your normal Ziploc bags, but you're going to have to make sure you get as much air as possible out of there, and those are only good for small pieces of meat.
The zipper, not the slide.
Yes, don't get the slide. Number three is a food saver vacuum machine, that's got rolls of bags, or you can get pre-cut bags. Obviously that one's the best, but it's not going to work for every piece of meat. Because the next thing we're going to talk about is the fact that a lot of meat is oddly shaped, okay? So it's not always going to be easy to wrap it. So this is a ham off of a Cooney cross pig. And normally what I do is basically bring it at least halfway up with the wrapping paper, and then I'm going to bring the other side the other halfway, and I start at the bottom on the ham, okay? Because that's the biggest part of the meat and the part I'm most concerned about. And I take it like I'm wrapping a gift, basically, and I wrap it as tight as I can over. And even though I'm going to do this two-layered, I am going to use some tape on the first layer. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And if you need to, you can make second folds. Like here, you could make a second fold. Okay, so when we get to that point, I'm going to go ahead and tape it. It's better if you have a bunch of masking tape pre-cut or pre-ripped, whatever, on the edge of your table, because that saves a lot of time. And you can, of course, get dispensers for that. Okay, so now when you get to the top of the ham, which is the skinny part here, the shank end of your ham, you can actually cut it into shank and butt portions of ham, but, these aren't giant hams, so we don't really do that much. So then I'm going to concentrate on going really skinny up there at the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I need a really long piece of tape. This is not a long piece of tape, but as I'm going to go secure around this shank here to kind of give me it's going to look like a ham, isn't it? So then when I go for the second layer, I'm going to turn it over, okay? Because then you get a thicker portion of paper on the part that only has a thin portion now, because you didn't have all the folding on this side. Okay, so I'm not going to show the second layer. The next thing we're going to show is bacon. So this is a side of bacon. Now most people would probably trim this before they put it in the freezer, but our dad is the one that does the smoking, and he trims the bacon at the time and decides what part he wants for bacon, what part he's going to save for sausage and things.
This one has the loin still on.
Oh, this has the loin still on, see?
This is for rolled bacon.
Yeah, so
on the loin.
A piece of rolled bacon, you're going to roll that up, you're going to put the cure on it and then roll it up, and then you're going to have round slices of bacon with loin in the middle, which is really good and makes really nice, sandwiches and things. And we don't do that on all of our bacon, but we've been doing that lately on some of it. Okay, so again, you need a really long piece of wrapping paper to do bacon and hams to make sure that you've got enough, which I don't. If that happens and you're short, then just add another piece, and all that's going to do is give extra protection in your freezer, so. I fold it in half because otherwise it's just too big for the piece of wrapping paper. Now, if you have the time to do a bacon right then, you can just do it fresh. And that's going to be a lot easier. But you know, if you raise enough pigs, you can't always do all of them fresh. Okay, so.
And the cured meat doesn't keep as long.
True.
In the freezer.
Okay, so this is the first layer for the bacon. So basically, again, like wrapping a gift, you're going to be pull it in at the corners. And, you know, things that are odd shapes, you are going to have airspace in there, and that's all there is to it. All you can do is basically just get it as tight as you can and add that second layer for protection, and try to not leave it in your freezer too long before you get it small. There's that. That one has come undone. All of my tape is covered in pork grease, which is a good reason to have it done ahead of time. Okay, you get the point. So again, just like I did on the ham, I'm going to turn this over for the second wrapping. The second wrapping is going to be much neater and much nicer than the first one was, as far as things go, but I don't need to show a second layer. So we're going to move on to how to wrap smaller pieces of meat, like loins. So this is a loin. I'm just going to go ahead and stick this up here and we'll show. So, if you don't, I don't mind having tiny little steaks. You know, just little. That's fine with me, because this is a small pig. These aren't big pigs. But if you like bigger ones, and we don't do chops, we only do steaks. It's a lot less work. Cut through almost all the way, but not quite. And then cut a second steak, and then cut all the way through. This is called a butterfly steak. And that gives you a bigger steak. So I'm going to cut off enough for what we would eat for a meal, which is, you know, a few a piece. Don't forget when you're doing this to make sure that you label the date and what it is. We even label male and female because the flavor on the pork is different. Okay, so that's enough for a few pieces. So on this, I'm going to go over to a corner and gather that up and pull it as tight as you can, even if you're rolling it, okay? And then roll it under, and then fold it over, fold it over. Now you can just, instead of double wrapping small items, you can just get a really big piece of paper and then roll it over and over again so that it's well covered. So then you're going to roll it, roll it. These are the prettiest packages we make here at our homestead. So then you're going to repeat it on the second layer. And you can easily do these in a Ziploc or in your sealer bags. And those will come out really good because they're small. They're easier to get the air out of, and they're not a weird shape. Okay, that's our crash course on meat packing.